Today, in this video, I'm going to take you through the nasty 9 most common ingredient you will find in the conventional cosmetic. You will actually, it's quite hard to recognize them and to know exactly what to look for. So today I'm going to take you through it, and I'm also going to offer a little pocket guide so you can have it with you to refer to every time. But hey, we'll start in a minute. For the one who don't know me, my name is Vanessa Wisdom. I'm the founder of the French Organic Company. I import French artisan made organic cosmetic, and I help women to feel and be in their own skin, to feel in being their own skin with a less is more approach. So let's start it with the nasty 9 list. So we'll start with the most common one. So it's the mineral oil. So how to identify it? I've got my note here as well because I've got impossible names to actually pronounce. So, so the mineral oil. This is very commonly used in the cosmetic industry. Dreadful for the environment. It's extremely. It's an extreme pollutant. Doesn't have any real benefits for the skin, to be honest. But for the advantage for the manufacturer and in the cosmetic industry, the advantage of it is actually a very cheap thing to fill out. It's a very cheap filler, basically. So identify them, and don't worry about this because as I said, I'm going to send you this. I'm going to share below in the comment this little pocket guide, and I have created with, obviously it's the wrong. I mean, it's upside down for you, but not upside down, but the other way. But it's, you know, it's the nasty 9 pocket guide, so you can actually have this into your handbag or into your wallet, and then refer it at any time when you actually shop for cosmetic or anything and you want to know about it. So don't worry about it. I'm just going to go through it, and then, you know, if you don't have to remember everything now. That's what I'm saying, basically. So identifying them, so the mineral oil I was there, it's the Paraffinium liquinium. So you see, it's impossible to say, and with my French accent it makes it even worse. Also called mineral petroleum jelly. So you will see, and there is other name there, and I won't go there, but you will have it as well on the list. So that's number one, mineral oil. Number 2, the silicone. So again, the silicone is a very, very cheap filler. It doesn't have any benefits to your skin. We don't know if it actually have an impact on the health yet. There is no research, or, well, the research hasn't proven or shown anything. But the silicone, what's actually they do, they give that lovely, sleek, soft feeling of the product. So for example, if you know those, and I'm not going to mention any brand, but if you have like some shampoo, for example, and then you have after that lovely, soft, sleek, shiny, you know, hair feeling type of thing, then that's because of the silicone. And the silicone, it's basically plastic. Let's be honest. So cheap filler to put in your shampoo for the manufacturer as well. It's a really cheap filler, so it's actually brilliant. But it's also dreadful for the environment because it'll take years. We don't even know how we actually break down into the environment, to be honest. I think we know it's plastic base, so therefore you can sort of, you know, imagine that it will take like a long time to actually break down. It doesn't actually break down in the environment. So that's that. And then you can recognize the silicone with all the on and an, you know, at the end of the name. So you have, for instance, Soloxan, or you will have Cyclohexolexan. It's impossible to say. It's terrible. Anyway, so number 2, it's a silicone. Number 3, polymer. So the polymer in the conversation, it's actually widely used in makeup, in the cosmetic industry and in makeup as well. It acts as an emulsifier, and again, it's terrible. Like, you know, it's another thing. It's because it's one thing that is bad for our health, but if it doesn't do anything for our health, or if it doesn't give any benefits to our skin or anything like that, when it's rinsed off, goes down to the drain and then necessarily goes into the waterways, goes, obviously have an impact on the marine life, and God knows where. I mean, we see if it has an impact on the marine life, and then we eat fish, you can see how you actually end up and go, very far on this thing. So the polymers. So how you identify them? You can see them very clearly on any kind of product. You say PEG or PEG. If that's easier to remember, if you remember PEG, you know that actually this is a polymer as well. So so you have the polypolymer and you have polypropylene cross polymer, which is another one as well. Again, you have that on the list anyway, so don't panic if you don't remember. Colorants, so all the colorants are often solid substance, and they give an attractive aspect to the product. No benefits whatsoever, but say for example, like in the colorant I use widely in makeup, of course, and even in some natural makeup, they use to get like that really rich red and everything. They use cochineal, crushed cochineal, like that little bee, to actually get that red. So it can be natural, but it's not, because an animal is natural, if you will. But it's just not obviously very well. Certainly not vegan and not cruelty free in any case. But if they use obviously a different substance, like if they make that color into say the lab or something, that will be obviously a colorant of some substance. Generally, to refer them to identify them in the INCN list or in the ingredient list, you will see you always have a CI at the front. So that's a colorant. So you'll have a CI and then 5 numbers at the back of that CI. So far we talked about the mineral oil, then the silicone, number 2, number 3 the polymer, number 4 the colorant, number 5 the preservative. So the preservative is another big one, because even in the organic industry, even in actually organic or the what's it called, the organic bodies, they're allowed certain amount of preservative, and some of them are quite dodgy, I'll say it. So you have to be careful about this as well. Even when you buy organic, you have to look at the list. It's a bit annoying, because you think you're buying organic, so you want to be sure. Then when you buy organic, the work is done for you, but it's not always the case. So I'm just saying, just be mindful. Then even if you buy something certified organic, you have to still look into those ingredients, especially the conservator. The preservative. That's in French, conservator. So the preservative, especially the preservative. So and then so you will. It's easy. One of them, it's very easy to, one is to actually identify one of the preservatives is paraben. Paraben is one of them. And then, although sometimes you can see in a commercial, said product, they'll say no paraben, but if you look again the list, you will actually notice then they put another ingredient which is actually worse than paraben. Which I don't have, again, I can put the other, that in a comment list as well, so you can, it's not in that list, but you can put that, so you know what to look for as well. But when you have conventional cosmetic or shampoo, conventional product, and it says no paraben, just look at the list. Don't believe what just says there at the front, because they often have another preservative, which is which is also as bad. So, for example, another one was actually, very briefly, I can see on my list here, the triglycine. Triglycine is also quite popular. Everybody knows or heard of it. So it's also one preservative actually quite used widely in the cosmetic industry. So emulsifier, all type of emulsifier, you know, sulfates and sodium laurate sulfate. So those were the SLS. You heard of it, of course. We've been talking about it broadly, you know, yeah, so it's been, you know, talked about. So generally people are more, like aware about the SLS as well. So that's an emulsifier. So we are in so that was number 6. Now we are number 7, the fatty alcohol. Create also, like the silicone, it create like that smooth silky formula, you know, that lovely texture. It actually is an emollient that helps do, you know, address the skin and stuff like that. So methylpropyl, it's one of them. PPG, which is easy to remember again, and benzyl alcohol. Benzyl alcohol is also used as a preservative, with sometimes used in the organic and allowed in the organic body certification. So benzyl alcohol is very easy to remember. If you look at that chemical maze app, they said, I think it's orange, the benzyl alcohol, but because we're not quite sure. As I said, for me it's just, if I see that in the product, I just don't go there. So it's up to you after if you want to decide. But fragrance, of course, you heard of the perfume and fragrance and everything like that. So now is something that you need to know in regard to the ISCI list. Not necessarily in the ISCI list, you'll have all the list of the ingredient, and sometimes it's written perfume or fragrance. So you don't necessarily have, they won't give you the list. Well, it's not on the list basically of the actually product. You can probably ask the manufacturer if they can display that kind of information. But even say in a natural product or organic product, sometimes they put fragrance, but you want to know where the fragrance comes from, because it can be natural fragrance, it can be essential oil, it can be fruit, it can be any kind of thing if it's an organic product. So what you want to do is to know where that fragrance from. It's not all fragrance are bad. In the conventional, yes. In the organic, you just got to find out what is it, the fragrance, if it's a natural fragrance or what is it, the bad. Generally, like for example, with the makeup that I import, I know the fragrance they use in the makeup, for example, or the title, it's actually come from essential oil, vanilla base. So there you are. I know actually where it comes from, and I know it's not actually fragrance, they're actually synthetic fragrance, which is what you have to be mindful about. The synthetic fragrance are really, really harmful for the health. And number 9, EDTA. So this one is something I can't pronounce, so that's another thing. And in the INCI list, which is the ingredient list, again, on every product you purchase is there, you will see it, EDTA. So don't worry too much about, well, again, it will be written on this anyway, but you don't have to remember the full name. You just have to remember EDTA or PEG or PPG. All of this is easy to remember. You know those things. You just can say, you know, I'm not having this. So that's basically it. So I will say it again. The 9 nasty, then you got to look for, and then you got to look into the back of your ingredient list. Basically, when you purchase a cosmetic, it's mineral oil, number 1, number 2, silicone, number 3, polymers, number 4, colorant, number 5, preservative, number 6, emulsifier, number 7, fatty alcohol, number 8, fragrances, and number 9, EDTA. So those are groups of ingredients. So I put them, the nasty 9, in a group like this, and then in there you will find that there is, like, as I explained before, in a preservative you have the paraben, for example. So you'll have a few, like a couple there to actually be mindful of. But generally, if they don't necessarily tell you which ingredient is in there in the ISCI, it will tell you the group. So that's why I think the group is actually useful to have it. So in the link below in the comment, I will put this little pocket guide you can actually download, and then it's quite easy. So it'll come on a PDF like this, obviously, and and then you can fold it, which is, I mean, I don't have especially like any way of fold. I mean, I don't have explanation for folding it, but I'll show you very briefly. You have a line in the middle, so you just fold it in two, and it end up like this, and then the bottom part, top part, and then middle, and that's how basically it ends up. And then you can keep that in your wallet, in your handbag, and have it refer to, you know, whenever you need it. So that's it for me. There was a fabulous Friday, which I was meant to tell you a story actually, but in fact I'm going to do it now. So the whole thing about these ingredients started like when I was a young mom. You know, now my boy is 12 years old, so, you know, but when I actually had him, I was actually looking to, I want to have safe product. I wanted to have, you know, like to bath him and to you know, to massage him and all of that sort of, because, you know, when you have a baby, we tell you the massage are very beneficial for the babies and all of that sort of thing. So I started looking to those products, you know, the product, the shampoo. I didn't like those Johnson & Johnson product and all of that sort of thing. So I just wanted to, you know, find something that was natural and I really like, and I knew that I could trust and all of this sort of thing. So that's what I was looking into. And I found very, very quickly, even natural or organic product, that was really the beginning of the organic things and natural thing. But even the natural product actually ended up not being natural or not completely natural. Some of them had those nasty that I was talking about, although they were plant-based or according to it, but they were still synthetic anyway. So that's all start like this. You know, the story was all start where I feel as a consumer, trusting consumer, then I was misled by the cosmetic industry or by the, you know, the industry, obviously misled, and so I got really upset because it was about my baby's health, and I was really, you know, yeah, it was really, really, I didn't really like that. So what I did then was I started looking actually to find other product, and I couldn't really find anything here in Australia because, well, as I said, that was really the beginning of the organic and natural wave or trend, if you will. So I looked into my country of France, and then I started finding heaps of organic product. Like really the boom of the organic industry has really flew like in France, and we become the second leader in the world actually of creating organic cosmetic. But even there I find that those products who were certified certified organic or certified by the organic bodies were also had those preservatives that I didn't want, you know, to have in my product, and I didn't want to have in, you know, and all of that sort of thing. So I started looking a bit further again, and what I realized, there were some small artisans who in France who were very engaged, very passionate about, you know, what they were doing, and really want to create clean organic cosmetic. And that's how we all started. So finally I found people who were making those products that I wanted for me and for my family, and then for my obviously clients, because I knew they could trust the product and I was actually going to brand, and they will not be that mislead. They will not be. They didn't have to be worried about what they were buying because they knew, you know, the work was done before. So that's how it all started. It all started, you know, I didn't create my business 12 years ago, but it all started as I've been misled, and I was like really upset on not finding, you know, the right product or the safer product for my family. So that's it today. Thank you for watching, and join me on Tuesday for another Facebook Live, where I teach. Well, I'm not. Yeah, it's just basically I'm going to show you what I do it's not going to be a makeup on Tuesday. It's going to be, I'm going to take you in my kitchen actually, and show you what I do. You know, what I cook on a regular basis, and So we're going to do a broth. So I tell you everything. So now, and I'm going to show you how I do it, because I'm a busy mom, and you know, I don't have the time to wait for 12 hours to the broth to actually do what he has to do. So I'll show you what I do. So Tuesday 10 o'clock, I'll take you in my kitchen. Until then, I wish you a fantastic weekend. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye.